We just can't catch a break, can we? Pollen counts are still skyrocketing in our area, even reaching a record for March, which may explain if you have sneezing, sniffles, sinus headaches, you name it, we understand. Dr. Alvarez with Luxe Primary Practice is here with me to tell us more about how we can deal with this. It seems like pollen problems are usually over by this time of year. Certainly not the case this year.
No, it's not. I mean, the pollen counts are really high, and you see pollen everywhere right now.
Okay, so even if you've never had allergies as a child, you can develop them later in life, or if you move to someplace like Houston?
Well, yeah, so allergies are actually very common in adults, and I have a primary practice here in Bellaire, and I told my patients that if you live in Houston long enough, you'll end up developing some allergies sooner or later, unfortunately.
It can get so confusing, though, because those symptoms really can mimic a lot of stuff. You're deciding, oh, do I need to get to my doctor? Can I treat this at home? How do you really tell the difference between it all?
Well, so there are those classic symptoms of sneezing, watery eyes, and runny nose. But the thing is that some of those symptoms, like the runny nose and sore throat, can also be caused by other things like allergies, sometimes sinus infections. So, I mean, if you've had allergies before, or if you're starting to develop some, you can try taking some over-the-counter medication, like antihistamines, and seeing if that helps. But if it doesn't, then you should probably go see your primary care doctor.
What are some ideas to prevent pollen allergies, or just to keep your body as clear from pollen as you can? Because I know it's even hard to walk right now because it's just hard to breathe.
Well, unfortunately, pollen is everywhere right now. So when you're outside, it's a little difficult to protect yourself. But when you're inside, you can be sure to wash your hands, wash your face. Taking a shower before going to bed will help to get some of those allergens off of you. There's even nasal rinses that I personally use to help get some of that pollen and just the mucus out of your nasal cavity.
Do HEPA filters and things like that really help inside your home?
Well, so it does help to decrease the dust, and there are some special filters that say that they help with pollen counts. Personally, I use those just because our allergies are bad, and I have noticed some improvement.
And you talked about the watery eyes. Do eye drops really help allergy problems with the eyes?
So they do. It's basically the same medication that there's also an antihistamine, like the pills that you take, but in liquid form, so you can put on your eyes.
Now, we know that there's a lot of a popular ingredient we've heard that over the counter that doesn't work at all for these. What is your best suggestion if you're trying to figure out if you want to go try to take something to help out your allergies?
Well, what I suggest my patients to do is to start with, the over-the-counter things, the antihistamines that are available, and then also the nasal sprays. But the thing is, a lot of people use nasal sprays wrong, actually. Yes.
So how do you do it right? There's a wrong way?
Well, so a lot of people will just, put the nasal spray in your nose and spray down the back of your throat and inhale. If you can taste the medication, you're doing it wrong. What you want to do is kind of aim toward your eye on that side and spray and not inhale, because you want it to get into the sinus cavity that's right over here. So if you can taste it, it's gone down the wrong way.
Look at this interesting life lesson from you. Little nasal spray hack. You didn't know you were going to get that on the morning news, did you? I've never heard that before, so that is really interesting to hear. Don't swallow your nasal spray. Keep it all where it belongs. Thanks so much for coming in this morning, Dr. Alvarez.
It's always a pleasure.
So good to see you. Thanks for coming in from just over the Bellaire area, our neighbor, just right around the corner. All right, the doctor calls every